What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to This Is It on YouTube. My name is Devin, and today we have a very special episode for you. That's right, we're sitting down with not one, but two guests. Welcome back to the show, King Inc., and welcome Avery on the Beat.
That's right, we got a very special episode for y'all. We got two guests. We got King Inc., a rapper that's based out of Chicopee, Massachusetts. We got Avery On The Beat, who's a producer based out of Springfield, Massachusetts. We'll be talking to them about their Mood EP. We're talking about the work that got put into that project, the work that they got planned for the future, and a whole lot of stuff. We also got a music feature from King Inc., What It Feel Like, a track that was produced by Avery On The Beat. So make sure y'all tune in for this one, man. It's gonna be a real good episode.
Like I said, King Inc. is coming back onto this show, so if you already haven't seen King Inc. Part 1, make sure you go check that out. It's episode number 4 of Season 1, only available on SoundCloud. Get ready, because this is episode 6 with King Inc. and Avery On The Beat. Welcome everybody to This Is It. My name is Devin. I'm joined alongside Brad, and today we have something very special happening. We're joined by Avery On The Beat, and joining us once again we have King Inc. How are you guys doing today?
Feeling good, baby.
All right, thank you for coming through, you guys. Thank you, especially for at the time we're recording at that snowstorm, like during the snowstorm. I hope I make it through safely tonight. I hope you guys do too.
Oh, we gonna.
Yeah, Civic game. Oh, damn. But I'm glad you guys made it through for this one. We're really excited to talk to you guys. Just to kind of catch everyone up a little bit, you guys just dropped the Mood EP.
Yeah, man. I think January 7th.
Yeah.
January 7th, it came out on a Monday. It's about 2 weeks now. No, it's about to be 2 weeks. Tomorrow. 2
weeks tomorrow. So what has it been like for you guys since you first dropped it since then, from now and then?
I mean, I'm just kind of... I'm sorry, no.
No, that's right.
I'm just chilling right now, you know what I'm saying? Just watching the numbers go up, prepping to just keep dropping again. You know, we still been in the studio. It's not like we took a break or nothing. So
right.
Just working on keeping it going.
Yo, for real, because like listening to the Mood and the EP that you guys dropped beforehand, which was the Broke EP, there's a lot of differences between it stylistically and just the way you guys, I felt, just the way you wanted to present it, really. Just with the first being no features with Mood. And can you talk to me a little bit about that? Like, what was behind that decision?
I mean, it wasn't really intentional, but kind of like with what the title suggests, like it's just like honestly me getting I think I got a lot off my chest and kind of like cleared up some stuff. Like, I mean, one example of it is like I've always felt like I had to keep my my 9 to 5 like a secret almost. Like everybody should know that like I'm an artist and I work, because you can't just be an artist now. There's way too many of us, you know what I mean?
And it's like for you, like I agree with you saying this. So it felt like more like a therapy session for you. Like you was letting a lot more stuff out on this one than as opposed to Broke. But Broke was like just straight up the flex, just having fun with it really. And this one seemed more of like I said, like a more therapeutic approach. When you and Avery stepped in on this one, even just selecting the beats, that's just another thing that I noticed too. Avery, the beats that you put on this one, a lot different. You're very capable. You're a very capable producer. We all know that. Another thing that's very underrated, I think, with producers is matching the production with the type of rapping that the artist wants to do. What was it like for you figuring out what type of beats to match up with what Ink wanted to do on this one?
I just went through vibes, because I think with Broke, what had happened with that tape was I was very making beats by myself and very like secretive, and I actually found myself over the past year realizing that the best production of mine didn't really come with me just sitting there by myself. I really learned how to make beats off the vibe in the room and kind of stuff like that, rather than just sending emails, having a session come. You know, so I think a lot of the production done with this Mood record, whatever, you know, that was all vibe based and, you know, just...
So you got like actual people in the room, which not actually, but you guys had a lot more people in the room for this one. More of a collaborative effort, really, with this one as opposed to the other ones. So, like, what was one of the songs that you feel like was a direct benefit of that type of environment?
Man, shit.
Because I know you guys record a lot.
97 Flow.
97 Flow.
Which is actually the opening song.
Right.
And just to add to it too, like, I made a point on this album to kind of demonstrate like both sides of what I do, you know, like lyrically and just kind of like songs like Bravo and stuff like that. And I think that was able to showcase Avery's ability to like do all sorts of beats, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like a lot of people, when I talk to them about Avery, the first thing they bring up is like, oh man, he's gotten a lot better. And it's like, he was always capable to do the beats that you guys like. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, we're finally giving it a go.
What, like you were saying before, like this one, obviously a lot more therapeutic for you. Avery, this one's a lot more out of your comfort zone a little bit because you're working with a lot of other people. What made you guys want to make this EP that, you know, that transition? Why not? Because it was working before. Broke was a really good EP. The EP's other singles that you guys dropped were really good. Why switch the formula?
Because I don't know. I like to show people, just remind them that I can make whatever the hell I want. And, you know, I think with 97 Flow, you hear that, it's like a boom bap record.
Yeah, for real, yeah.
I actually gave that to Nipsey Hussle. I sent it to him, and nothing really happened with it. But I'm like, you know what? Let me see what King can do to it.
And King, you shouted it out. On that dedication.
Yeah, the beat was actually named Nipsey, so it was kind of like almost like I had to. And to add to what he was saying, like on my side, it was kind of more just like just kind of like the way it ended up being. Like, I think How You Think was the first song that I actually made off of that. And then, like, based off of that song, I was just like, yo, I think I'm gonna save that for like a tape. And we just kind of started working on singles. And like, I would come in and like hear a beat and I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna use that for the tape. And it's kind of came like that. I was working on it for like a while, but not like directly, just kind of like throwing songs aside for it. I think there's definitely room to grow. I think the next one's gonna be even better. It's gonna cut deeper. Production's gonna be a lot better. It's just, that's what we aim for every time. If we go back to Broke, I had probably like 2 songs on there that were like, alright, those are solid songs. So like on this EP, I feel like for the most part, it was solid. I think for the next one, I just wanna make it just like flow better and have more of like a thematic thing to it, you know? So, you know, we'll see what happens.
No, definitely looking forward to it. Alright, so in this clip we're going to be talking to Avery and Ink about their future plans.
Well, I think, you know, getting the distribution down right is definitely what we're focusing on now. As for next, maybe, honestly, what I think for the future is I'm trying to get more in depth with really mastering the tracks correctly. You know, because I'm a producer that, you know, I know how to make the beats, mix the beats correctly. You know, I just got into mixing vocals only 2 years ago.
Oh, wow. So for our listeners that might not know the difference, explain to us what the difference between production and actually mixing and mastering a track is. What's the difference between those two?
So when you make beats, what I always thought was the general rule of thumb, make sure everything is just clear enough where, you know, it's not clipping or it's not way too loud. Make sure everything is, you know, fits in like a puzzle properly. But when you get into mixing, you got to think of all these different technical things. You have, you know, your EQ, your compression, your reverb, your de-essing, you know, just a few different things. But you have to actually know 5 or 6 different ways to do the same thing.
Exactly.
Depending on the track, right? Because you got to learn about headroom, you have to learn about, you know, just a bunch of technical things, what works for somebody's voice and what doesn't. And so I think making sure that you can clean up vocals and do all that is a big deal. The big difference is really just post-production. You just got to make sure, you know, you do everything correctly, you know.
How'd you go about learning that?
So, a producer friend of mine ended up breaking his arm like 2 years ago, and so I actually had to track some sessions and do a lot of the stuff that he usually did. So I had a copy of Pro Tools, but I didn't know how to use it. So he helped me through the installation, gave me, I don't know if I got the template before or after, but I had Ken come over and show me some things with Pro Tools, considering at the time, you know, he knows how to track vocals. So I'm like, okay, cool. So we did a track or whatever, and I'm like, hey, this could be really cool, because not only I'm not just sending beats out anymore. You know, if I want to get something done, it's up to me, and I could call them right over here, record it, get it sent to me on my own time, upload it in my own time.
Right now we're going to dive into who Avery on the Beat is, why he started producing music, and what it means to him. Avery is somebody that I have always wanted to get on the podcast, ever starting this back in season 1. He's somebody who is very great at his craft. He has mastered and is still willing to learn more about producing just to create the highest level of music that he can. So Avery, we're really happy that you're here. You're somebody that we've been wanting to get on the podcast for quite some time. We want to know, I want to take it back from the very beginning. What made you want to get into producing? Why did you feel like you wanted to do it?
So I felt like I wanted to be a part of something, but at the same time I wanted to be behind the scenes. I played guitar and bass for 6 years.
Nice.
It was okay, but I thought it was a little cliche. I thought I ran into a lot of guitar players considering this is a metal state.
Yeah,
You know, people forget that. And I was just like, you know what? I got stage fright. So I'm serious. I'll be sitting there playing the guitar, and I'll be looking, and then I'll catch like I got a lazy eye, so it'll just go everywhere. Then I catch eye contact with somebody by accident. Then I start sweating.
Oh, they're just looking at you.
They looked at me, my soul, like it was not casual. It was perfect.
It was casual.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
And I walked on, and I was like, no, I'm not doing this no more.
Damn.
And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna look into making beats. So, you know, I saw Lex Luger making beats when he was, you know, doing this thing with Waka in like 2010, 2011. And I'm like, okay, well, whatever, I'm gonna start making beats. And then, you know, pretty soon I downloaded FL. I was making like old school shit. But then I was just, you know, messing around making beats casually when I wanted to. I didn't even have a bedroom or a laptop. I lived in my grandmother's living room till I was 14.
Damn.
Yeah.
So you was in Granny's living room cooking up these
On her laptop with headphones on, yeah.
Damn.
At like 13, right?
I started when I was 9.
Nine.
Wow.
9, yeah.
Damn.
So it was, you know, just kind of like whatever. Just, you know, my grandma would be like, what the hell is .flp? Fruit Loops, Fruity Loops.
She thought you had the cereal software on her computer.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna hold you. First time I thought I heard Fruity Loops, I was like, wait,
I did too.
the cereal running out of production from now?
Is that like store brand Fruit
Talking about
Loops?
diversification, man. I was damn.
Yeah. And so, you know, it just kind of evolved and evolved. I just found myself sitting there more and more making the beats after I saw what really comes out of, you know, it not just clicking into a software anymore at this point. It's like, this is going to be something after, you know? And I feel like it gave me a lot of purpose to say that if I wasn't here, this record wouldn't have happened. This person wouldn't have said that's my favorite record. And, you know, it just, you know, you understand where your place is at. You know what I mean? Comparing to when I was in school, you know, it was like you show up there and I guess it's just like
The monotony of it all. Yeah.
Yeah, and also like I have cerebral palsy, so throughout my life in school with having a disability, I walk with a limp now at least. But in school, I was actually I was wheelchair bound until I was 8. So, you know what I mean? I was kind of looked at as like, oh, what's wrong with that kid? And I just got so tired of it, and I'm like, you know what? After learning how to walk 5 times, I'm like, this did not get any better, no matter how many surgeries, whatever. And I'm just like, I wasn't thought of as everyone else was thought of. So I said, you know what? This isn't my environment. And my senior year came, I dropped out. And I was like, yeah, I'm just going to chill and make beats. But in the music world, even since the beginning, I was thought of as, you know what, somebody that's just a good musician. And then just so happens to have a disability. Not somebody that's disabled that tries to make music.
Just not letting cerebral palsy define you.
Yeah. And that's a big thing, because there are stigmas.
Yeah.
I think with political correct, you know, political correctness coming into effect now, it's like people might think something, but they feel like they have to put on this filter and say it a certain way.
And you see right through it too immediately, especially growing up like in an era where, like we were just saying, it wasn't as politically correct. So like when you kind of see the way people react to you in certain situations, like you're not a dummy, you won't notice it. Like it's polite for them to not say it explicitly, but at that same point, it's kind of like, I mean, what
the
good
intentions
is it?
matter.
So like what you were saying before with the music scene specifically, the way it treated you, what are some things that you learned within the music scene? Because like you were saying, school wasn't really for you. What is the music or what has music taught you that school really couldn't?
Everybody has something in common. Judgment isn't as harsh, and no one's pointing fingers. You know, we all just come together, and there's some form of unity. You know, everybody has their own backstories and their own purposes as to why they're here, but they're here because they want to be here, and you know, it's just real. You know, school is like for me was.
It's like a big facade.
Facade. It didn't feel like real life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like people die every day. People go through struggles every day. You know, when you get home, is the stuff about this algebra equation gonna affect when you walk into your door? Not really.
No.
Not really directly. Not directly. When you're dealing with different stuff, you know what I mean. You trying to find out after all these years, how does this speak to me and how's this gonna help me? It's really not.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, at least for me. But the piece of paper matters.
Yeah.
You know, but as far as, you know, they go as far as teaching you these equations that are supposed to determine whether you pass or fail. And I think a lot of people in school versus the creative world, it's like they learn to color inside the lines.
Yeah.
And when you color inside the lines, it's fine, but you're really punished if you don't.
I see.
You really they say you fail if you don't pass this test. You don't retain this information, right? But it's not true in the music world. Like, if you fail at something, it's just
a learning experience.
Just don't fall for the failure. Don't fall for it, because just keep going, because different people are gonna be wired differently. They're gonna be like, oh, I failed, I'm a failure, and then, you know what I mean? It's like in school, man, they beat you up for failing a class.
And to learn nonsense too. You know, like half the stuff is not stuff that you need to retain.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I just saw like some sort of article or whatever, like they're making people in Massachusetts anyways, like in high school you gotta take a personal finance class.
That's
that's probably the best thing that they could have done.
Yeah.
In like a school situation.
Or some people go to college, I hear I hear the best stories and the worst stories sometimes. You know, like boom, you got your student loans, you defaulted.
Yeah.
Now it's a loan. It's a loan.
It's funny because I went to UMass Lowell for a semester, and that's the reason why I didn't want to keep going back, because I felt like I already knew what I wanted to do, and I feel like everybody that was there was trying to figure out what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody wasn't there because they wanted to do something and they had to go to college to do it. They went because, like you said, somebody was telling them, like, yo, you gotta, this is what you gotta do if you want to be successful. You gotta go to this place. And then they go there thinking they want something. I mean, think about it. You're like 18 and you're supposed to decide what you want to do for the rest of your life.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So they go there, and I went in like the last half of everybody's like freshman year, that class, you know, because I was in classes with those people, and rooming with those people that were in the last half of the freshman year, and everybody was like, yeah, man, I'm not coming back next year, this is not what I want to do, or like, yeah, I'm switching majors, and I'm still trying to decide on my major. Everybody's still just trying to figure that out.
So right now we're going to talk to Avery about his cerebral palsy. For those of you who don't know, Avery does suffer from cerebral palsy, but he does not look at it as a disability. He does not let this disease define him. In fact, he wants to start his own foundation to help kids in the same predicament as him growing up, to help them find the answers and solutions that he didn't have available to him when he was growing up. So Avery, speaking of like we were saying before with the production, you know, helping out producers in the area and stuff like that, I know you're pretty vocal about your CP and stuff like that. Can you talk to us a little bit about what your plans are for the future with that, regarding that cerebral palsy?
So I said this before. I want to start a foundation for young adults with cerebral palsy.
Yep.
When I got it like that, you know. But it's true. I do, because there's coverage about, you know, babies being born with cerebral palsy, the precautions you got to take, and then, you know, adults, and then that's it. There's no in between. There's no guidelines. I went to Shriners for my whole life, you know. People in there are great, but they never gave me a pamphlet on teenage life.
With cerebral palsy.
Yeah. You know, so I pulled up in 9th grade and I was like nervous. I was like, damn. So about like, you know, getting into relationships with people at the time, or being social at that time, it's like there was just a gray area. What I want to tell people, you know, is just like information from somebody with cerebral palsy. You know, giving them the tools to deal with growing up and transitioning from being a teenager to an adult, and, you know, being secure with yourself.
Yeah.
Because there's times where you feel like, you know, you're stuck and there's nobody that will answer your questions for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not physical, it's a mental thing too.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of like how it fucks you up, like, not like, okay, the disability don't, but the stigma does.
Yeah.
So it's like, damn, you gotta really think like about going about life and being comfortable with yourself. I think a foundation like that would really help people turn into, you know, positive.
So how did you go about getting your information as a young adult living with cerebral palsy?
Experience all the way. Learning about what I couldn't do and what I can't do. Like, for example, this snow is whack because I got with the weather getting cold, my muscles tend to tighten up a little bit, and with cerebral palsy, it's the cerebral cortex in your brain that controls how your brain communicates to your muscles.
Yeah.
So if it's cold outside, you're gonna feel it. You're gonna like get a muscle spasm here and there where like you'll flinch, and you can't control it.
Yeah.
So then you gotta go take a hot bath. You gotta treat yourself something. Or it's just like carrying things. Like you gotta kind of know your limits.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of mistakes, a lot of kind of knowing where you're physically capable. It doesn't get progressionally worse, but just talking to other people and then really just going out there and doing it.
Yeah.
A lot of anxiety.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sit here and diagnose myself with anxiety, depression, because I ain't. But it's a lot of anxiety brought upon you, and you just gotta keep your head up a little bit. Yeah.
I respect that. Definitely.
I do too.
Yeah.
Especially that choice to help others too with it, because it's not like you had a choice with this. You're just trying to help make somebody else's life better.
Yeah.
And that's something that I really do respect and admire. More importantly.
Salute, man. Means a lot.
For real.
So like, that's what I'm saying. And the school systems have the special education teachers that just do their job, and others that really go out of the way for people. But neither one of these school districts really give advice on like, okay, what am I going to do for a job with cerebral palsy? What am I going to do? Oh, well, there's this place called Mass Rehab, which helps the disabled get jobs. But then, that's all I tell you. They don't say, well, we could really figure this out and sit down and do this. Just do your work like everybody else, even though it's 10 times harder that, for you to do it, and call it a day. I think it really emphasizes you're disabled and you're different and it's not good. But that's bullshit. We're just different. We do shit different. So that's the main point of a foundation I want to start one day. It's going to be about. It's showing people how to just navigate the world and, be good themselves, because I know people with cerebral palsy that I've met on the street sometimes that are 40 years old and they depressed. But you got to think, man, like, there needs to be, like, almost how AA is.
Yeah.
Alcoholics Anonymous, cool. You talking to other alcoholics, other addicts of whatever sort, and you guys share these experiences and you get through it. Same with cerebral palsy. If you had 20 people with cerebral palsy telling their different stories and giving each other advice, and you know what I mean, starting something where y'all help each other, that is going to change disabled. It's going to change the word disabled. You're not disabled, you just do things differently. And you're going to find those techniques through this foundation.
You could call it Avery's attitude.
Avery's attitude?
Yeah.
He's trying to get that double A on there.
Boy.
What's the attitude?
You just have like a more positive mindset about this, because you were talking about how like you met people who are like depressed and you're just more positive. You're like, screw this. I'm taking it to the next level.
Yeah, like the support group you were describing, the support group. It's very effective, like you were just saying, with Alcoholics Anonymous and other I guess addictions and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know how I was blanking on that word, but just things of that nature. You know what I mean? It helps to have people around with those similar situations, because, like you were just saying, you had to learn all that through your own life experiences.
Yeah, the hard way. Yeah.
Exactly. And then there's other people who might have learned it a different way through another individual, or even through through life themselves.
And you don't gotta learn it the hard way and get calloused and everything, because it took me a long time to just get over that hump, stop being so negative and being, the Scrooge a lot of time. And, because, as, disabled individual, you don't want to pity yourself, and others might not see it like that.
Yeah.
But you also want to just, keep your head up at the same time, so you got obstacles in the way. And, you gotta get past them. Yeah.
No, but I'm glad to hear your outlook on life has changed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, even through, like you were saying, like you live with this day to day. The lessons that you had to learn weren't always the easiest to learn, and then coming out of that and going, you know what, I want to give other people the answers that I wasn't able to get at this age, or as easily as I should have gotten it,
Right.
or could have gotten it, I should say.
I love that. That's.
Now people say
that way.
a lot of shit
That way.
People always say how the disabled is like they look at us weak, but think about if Shriners was pissed off and they was to organize a hit on somebody. I'm serious. They got prosthetic legs, metal devices, wheelchairs, the chair shot to the head.
Chair shot to the head.
Like Rascals, where somebody might be like,
Yo, I don't know if I do if I see someone from Shriners run up on me like that.
No,
Me
I'm
either.
begging for my life.
Shit could get dark. Shit could get dark.
It could get dark.
They want me to do this thing where they're like, tell me 10 cents a day to help kids. I'd be like, no, fuck all that. Listen,
Yeah.
y'all got, okay, first of all, cash at me that shit. Second of all, man, I'm alright, but shit, if you want to throw me some bread, man, I got you,
Oh
man.
my God.
Like,
Yeah,
it's just like,
I'll send you the Cash App, the PayPal.
I ain't gonna
take
say
Venmo,
no.
too.
Venmo,
I'm only gonna play that.
Snapchat,
Yeah.
cash.
DM for the wire. Yeah.
I'm only gonna play that sensitive shit if I get caught in court. Or, you know, my SSI messes up.
Yeah.
Sir, please don't. I'll bust my ass on
Yeah,
purpose.
this nigga
Someone give me a banana peel to throw out, you know,
Yeah, this
bust my
nigga
ass on.
could do comedy. Not to cut you off, but like
Right.
you had mentioned something about the word disabled or something, and I'm thinking about it. Like the word itself is super offensive.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
disabled.
And it's
like,
such a negative
Yes,
connotation
if you put that
attached.
person in a box, like you
Yeah.
can't do nothing.
Right.
you know?
Exactly.
I just thought about like what disabled means. It's like abled, and then disabled means
Yeah.
to not be able. And
Yeah,
it's
like,
Yeah.
no,
It's-
fuck me, right? Fuck me. No,
As
but
fuck.
there was this, you know, the Belchertown State School, not to get dark, was a mental institution. They were actually abusing all the people in there. I think they
Yeah.
gave these people lobotomies, do experiments on them. And then there was this one with cerebral palsy that couldn't talk through her voice or whatever. So Intel, just like Stephen Hawking, they developed a thing where she could move her cheek or whatever muscle she was using and select words. And she was able to communicate and say exactly what the fuck was going on. Then they got sued. Shut down. That lady had cerebral palsy, couldn't do nothing to them until technology was developed.
That's
Boom.
crazy.
Drop the mic.
Literally.
Yeah. Anyways, shit. Let's lighten the fuck up, man.
Right now we're gonna sit down and talk to King Ink about what a difference a year can make. When he was on here last year to right now, we're also gonna talk about how, you know, Moon was projected at that time to hit 60,000, and today we found out it just hit 90.
50K
Yeah,
plays.
we hitting 60. We about to hit 60. I just checked it for today, and it was like 58. And it's not looking like it's slowing down at all. I was talking to my boy that helped me behind the scenes, and he's saying that it's looking like it's gonna keep going up for at least 2 weeks. So, you know, I think it's on pace to hit 100K, which is it's fucking sick. Cause
That's
last time I
sick.
was on here, we were celebrating, or we're getting ready to celebrate 100K total
Yeah.
plays on
Yep.
SoundCloud.
Yeah,
Yep,
totally.
I remember
And
that.
it's kind of crazy because, you know, that was over the span of like 2 or 3 years or something
Mhm.
like that. And now we're talking about 100K on this project that's been out for a couple weeks, you know what I'm
I know.
saying? So
Damn.
it's a good, you know, and last time I was here, we was talking about focusing on Spotify, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like now we're doing it.
Making that
It's-
transition over
it's
time.
going well, yeah. You set goals and then you just try to hit them. And
Mhm.
if you fall short, you're still higher than you was, you know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So last year, I don't know if I was saying I was trying to hit a show every month, and like I missed that goal, but
Mhm.
you know, like last year, I think it was just after our interview last time or
Mhm.
afterwards, I did the show with Lil Wop, and that was crazy, you know what I'm saying? Even though I missed a bunch of shows, I got
Mhm.
a couple really good shows in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, in November, I headlined the Wheelhouse, which is a venue at Hawks and Reed. They have
Mhm.
multiple stages and stuff, and that was cool. Shout out Pasto Chris, shout out Big Drip. They were on that show too, and it was just great energy, man. Honestly, like I was took back a little bit. I wasn't expecting as many people to buy tickets.
Mhm.
I wasn't expecting as many people to come out and show love, and the energy was great. I mean, it was awesome. You know, like as an opener, granted, if you put down for tickets or whatever, you gotta get those off and all that.
Mhm.
I feel like being the sole person responsible for the entire show, it's like damn, you really just hoping people show up, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
At least the first time around. And it wasn't even that big of a venue, but it was, you know, it was worrisome. Like I was, you know, I feel like taking that step was risky because it's like I was at a time, it's like I'm still at a time where it's like I'm not sure every show that I get is like sometimes I'll sell a lot of tickets, sometimes it won't be as many.
Mm.
So it was scary because if it flopped and that was my first headlining show, it was like anybody that did come, it's like that's the impression that they're gonna get.
Mhm.
So hopefully I left a good impression on a lot of people. I got a lot of really positive feedback from that. So
Alright everybody, y'all know what it is, you know what time it is. It is this week's musical feature. This week's musical feature is from King Ink. It is a track called What It Feel Like, produced by Avery On The Beat.
my God, is that Avery?
This is what it feel like. Okay. This is what it feel like. Everybody hating but still winning, that's in real life. This is what it feel like when you been inside and then they let you back in real life. This is what it feel like. This is what it feel like when you counting racks up in the margin looking real nice. This is what it feel like. This is what it feel like when you in the darkness and you get hit by the new light. This is what it feel like. This is what it feel like. I've been running checks up with no checkup, got the leg up in this bitch, cause she said it's kinda long and my niggas plug me in. I'ma get off in the mouth, then I get up on the stage. I'ma earn a couple stacks and I'ma fan it in your face. I've been turning up so long, it's like I finally found my pace. Niggas rooting for my fall, I just rooted up a safe, cause you know that niggas envy, so they tryna get me touched. I'ma die before you take some shit that I've been working for. I got enemies, I got enemies, I got niggas plotting on me. I got enemies, I got enemies, I got niggas plotting on me. This is what it feel like. Everybody hating but still winning, that's in real life. This is what it feel like when you been inside and then they let you back in real life. This is what it feel like. This is what it feel like when you counting racks up in the margin looking real nice. This is what it feel like. This is what it feel like when you in the darkness and you get hit by the new light. This is what it feel like. This is what it feel like.
Alright everybody, that was What It Feel Like by King Ink, produced by Avery On The Beat. Make sure you go check him out. Make sure you check out King Ink and King Ink Extra on Instagram and Twitter.
Make sure you check out Avery On The Beat on Instagram, and oh my god, is that Avery on Twitter. Also, shout out to Amanda Marie. Go like her YouTube channel, comment, subscribe, tell her that the guys from This Is It sent you, because she was here and she's always a great sport whenever she comes through with King, and we're gonna have to get her on for a future episode, so make sure you do that for us.
Again, we would not have this podcast without our sponsors, so big shout out to J Sells Vintage. Make sure you go check them out on Instagram over at J Sells Vintage. All your vintage needs, man. If you need gear that looks like this but don't cost you $600, go check out J Sells Vintage, man. You got everything you need. You will not be disappointed. Also, next week's episode, we got a very special guest. We got Enlightened. He is a rapper based out of where?
He is originally from Boston, but right now he resides in Los Angeles, California. This is actually his hat. He's going to be talking about the DIY do-it-yourself tour he is putting on called Enlighten vs. the World.
So make sure you check out that episode. It's a really special one. We know you will enjoy it. Again, everyone, I'm Brad.
I'm Devin.
And this is it.